What is a hydrometer? I've heard that question a lot. How do you use it? What does it do? Why do we need it? So I'm here to answer that. A hydrometer consists of two pieces, a cylinder, which you might recognize as maybe a graduated cylinder, although it has no graduations on it. The graduations are actually on the bob, which are graduated in specific gravity points. So we use this to measure the density of our worked water, any liquid. It's a device to measure density of liquid. So we use this in brewing to get a sense of where our sugar content is and where our ABV might be when the brew is finished. I'll give a little demonstration here. So with water, just plain water, this bob should bob at 1. See that it's floating? So what I like to do is just give it a spin and let it rest where it's going to. You can see right there at the bottom of the meniscus is the number 1. Okay, so now that we've seen what just regular water looks like at 1, okay, we're gonna put that off to the side and bring in some sugar water. Now this is from our seltzer that we're doing today. I'll link that video somewhere, maybe a card or something. But this is just corn sugar and water. We should have about, the recipe calls for 1040 specific gravity. So let's see what it comes out to be. I'm going to give it that little bob twirl. So right at the bottom of that meniscus, you can see that we're not quite at 1040, but more like maybe 1037. Sure. Yeah. At the point at which you're about ready to pitch yeast in your brew day, that's when you want to take your original gravity reading with your hydrometer. This will give you your starting point, which is what we just did here with the 1037. And then your recipe should give you an idea of where you should end up, and that will be your final gravity. Our final gravity on this recipe is supposed to be 0.996 gravity points, specific gravity. And that should lead to an ABV of roughly 5.4, 5.5%, depending on what our attenuation actually is. So the point at which you pitch your yeast, that's your original gravity. The point at which your yeast is done doing its job, and you take that specific gravity reading, that's called final gravity. And the difference between final gravity and your original gravity will give you an idea of what your alcohol content will be. There's a bunch of calculators out there on the internet. I'll put one in the description, and you can calculate what your alcohol by volume percentage would be if you had certain numbers plugged in there.